Hey Sarah, I wanted to leave you some feedback on SA2. Uh, don't forget to get your header up here in your right hand corner. I guess I'm starting by talking about formatting. And additionally, it looks like you're using APA to cite your sources. Make sure that you are using MLA. So MLA does not place the date following the author. And in addition, MLA organizes the authors in alphabetical order and by last name, and states the author's full names. So I think that there are some good ideas present in this essay. There are several things that I want to talk to you about. So first off, do your best to avoid using second person you in professional writing. It's far too informal. So you just want to replace this with something more concrete. So either keep this in first person I all the way through the essay, or if you find that you're trying to make a more broader point, refer to students as opposed to you. So it feels like you want to define education as experience, but I didn't quite recognize this as a thesis statement. Number one, because it's in the middle of the introduction as opposed to the end, and two, it doesn't quite read like a thesis, and I think it's because we have the word you want to define, and we have the category that you are trying to place it into. But I think that we need a little bit more here in terms of how and why you're placing it into the category of experience. In terms of your response to the reading, you're setting up the signal phrase quite well, although this is the subtitle. The title of the essay is actually Against Schools. But you're bringing in this minor point of evidence. And what you actually want to do is create an objective summary of the overarching main idea before you bring in the minor points. So when you bring in the minor points without the summary, you're doing what is called cherry picking. And that's where you're just going in and picking pieces of evidence to suit your purposes without remaining objective or without remaining true to what the author is really saying. So before you bring in the minor point evidence, make sure that you're capturing that objective summary. So I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to think about how this gives an example of experience, if that is your definition. So one of the other things that I feel like is missing is you present that idea of experience, but it kind of drops out of your paper. So if that's what you're trying to argue, right, each of your lines of argument, in other words, each of your paragraphs should explain how this is experience, right? So you need to explicitly get that idea in each of your paragraphs. In addition, I think that you're creating some interesting responses to the articles in the individual paragraphs, but you want to think about how you can use transitions to more clearly connect these ideas, right? So they feel like isolated paragraphs as opposed to paragraphs that are all working towards building that idea of experience. And so basically you want to think about creating clearer topic sentences or clearer key ideas. And I think that you bring up some good broad points about Miss Moore, but I feel like more development is needed here. So what is the lesson that they learned, right? And why is that important? And how is that an example of experience, right? So this is a story that could actually fit in really well with the argument that you present, but this paragraph is kind of undeveloped. What I like the most is your own personal connection here. So a good way to expand is to think about, well, why is it important to have a greater understanding of the world as a whole, and how does that tie into experience? You have a good summary of the overarching stance, but you need to expand this to beyond just summary in your conclusion to either include a call to action or some kind of implication. So I think that there's some good ideas here, but I think another round of revision would really help the essay be stronger. All right, thanks, and let me know if you have questions.